StockPulse Network here. We are talking Reyna Silver. Reyna trades is RSLV, Toronto Venture Exchange in Canada, and we got RSNVF in the OTCQX in the States. And I've got Lauren Megaw here. You might remember her name here. Her dad's a pretty famous guy, Peter Megaw. So Lauren runs the IR side, and it really does a lot for the companies. So Lauren, good to connect with you. I haven't seen you, I guess, since the Silver Symposium back several months ago. But boy, I tell you, you caught my eye with this last release here. So intercepted some high-grade silver here at Medicine Springs. So run through the highlights here for investors, please.
It is so exciting to go from boots on the ground work to reconnaissance, good geologic work to, hitting over a kilo silver in your first hole. I mean, that's a lot of fun. I guess I'm setting the bar pretty high for, the career at this point, but our goal for this recon set of drilling was, do we have the carbonate sequence that we need? Because we're going after a carbonate replacement deposit at Medicine Springs. So you kind of need the magic host rock, the carbonate, to have a big carbonate replacement deposit. And so, our goal was to do this big long hole to see whether or not we had the sequence that we needed. But there was also the component of, obviously we're going underneath structures that we thought were interesting. We were getting these results out of the jasperoids, which are these exhaust features, just these beautiful, ripping, structurally controlled jasperoids that provided us a window to what was going on at depth. And they were just screaming, drill. There's something big lurking at depth. And, we went underneath one of these pretty high up. It was one of the early ones. We did this big, long hole at a low angle. And so, pretty high up in this sequence and running into a kilo silver there. And we stepped out to a to an undrilled zone. So that area had done a little bit of RC. There was a mine out there in the 1910s. This came from a different area, but in that general zone, there's mine. We stepped out 1.7 kilometers to what's called the Silver Butte, where we were getting jasperoid results running 900 grams per ton silver in the exhaust. So we were excited to drill there, and we intersected 7.4 meters of mineralization. And that was running 186 grams per ton silver. And there's a zone in there that runs, over 4.5 meters, running over 270 grams per ton silver. I mean, that's the kind of results that you're really looking for that says, okay, you've got structures that are carrying mineralization. We're getting good lead zinc numbers out of there. This is a big, wide structure. And, we're going to take this data, put it together with what we've got already, and really put together some well-defined strategic drill holes for this upcoming season. Because the exploration team is chomping at the bit to get back out there and see what we can find.
Yeah, I can imagine. And I know, I guess backtracking a little bit here. Talk about, I know, watched a little video you put together and Dr. Megaw there. This thing's checking a lot of the boxes off. So talk about the confidence moving forward and talk about how excited you'll be and when are you going to get at it?
Yeah. So, for us, we call it the CRD checklist. So these are 13 features that are associated with the big high-grade carbonate replacement deposits. And before our first drill hole, we were seeing 10 out of the 13. Now, after drilling, we've seen 11 out of the 13, a lot of those at depth as well. One of the biggest ones, and this was the big check mark, was whether or not we had that carbonate sequence. In terms of what that means, it means that the system has room to grow, right? So if you're replacing carbonate, you need to have a big, thick sequence of carbonate to replace for the thing to have any size. And, drilling between the three holes that went to depth, 400 to 750 meters of carbonate. The longest hole, which was close to 800 meters, spent most of its time in carbonate. I mean, it's the kind of stratigraphy that you want to see with these beautiful plumbing structures, because that's how it works. You have a porphyry that drives the thing. Most people are familiar with the copper and the gold deposits. And you have acidic mineralizing fluid coming off of that. It goes into structures, features essentially provide plumbing. And when acidic mineralized fluid interacts with the carbonate, the limestone, the dolostone, you get that. Ever do those paper mache volcanoes where you have the vinegar and the baking soda? That reaction happens underground. The goodies drop out. Also get some porosity there. But you also get calcite in the fluid keeps going. And we get something called fugitive calcite, is what we reference this. And one of the cool things about fugitive calcite is that you get some hitchhikers that go along with it. So manganese, lead. And why that matters is that when you're looking at drill core, you can use an ultraviolet light. And when you get into one of these fugitive calcite zones, well, fugitive calcite has another name, and it's called barbecue rock, because the rock literally glows the same color as my blazer. And that's indicative of somewhere that fugitive calcite came from somewhere where something replaced it. And we're just seeing a whole bunch of it within this drill core that we're seeing. So in terms of, we're seeing thick sequences of carbonate. We're seeing high grade, right? We've got over 1 kilo silver. We're seeing evidence of a big system. We're seeing evidence of replacement. I mean, it makes it hard to not be too excited about the project. And we're really looking forward to getting out there in this upcoming drilling season. And, it's going to be dependent on the weather and when things dry up and we can get out there. And, but it's really exciting.
Well, it sounds like you guys are off to a tremendous start there. Almost got lightning in a bottle, it sounds like, right out of the gate. So we'll certainly keep our eyes on the wire for more. So Lauren Megaw here, she handles the IR and many other things for Reyna Silver. They trade as RSLV, Toronto Venture Exchange, RSNVF, OTCQX in the States. Lauren, appreciate that update, and a lot to pay attention to. We'll look forward to checking back in when you guys figure out when you're going to get back at it.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.